Okay, are we live? Yep. It looks like we are live. Alright. So, here we go then. Took me a bit to figure that out. Yesterday, apparently, I tried to go live and it just flat out. So instead I uploaded the video because I had such a forward and load, but I messed up the upload. Okay, so here we have Waterworks as a file. Got the version history because we got a few different versions I was saving off yesterday. At the end of the day, I did a very little bit of the starting, blocking out. Let's see. I'm gonna look up what the description of Waterworks is according to Halo 2. I can add that there. And I'll probably make a new one for a new description for the updated version that I make. But just latest version. That says in progress. Now I didn't close the game and reopen it. So let's do that. That's the wrong one, didn't I? I went straight into Master Chief Collection instead of Infinite. Well, while we're here, we'll find out what Waterworks description is, maybe? I can find that on. Boots up. Got this here. Which is, that's where I was. I've basically I made this rock, and it's very loose, like rough and early. I expect I'm gonna have to remake it. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to remake it. Okay. Over time. Right now, I'm just gonna leave it how it is, and then once I get more familiar with the options at my disposal, I'll probably go back over them as well. Oh, not forge. New item. Option. Okay, which... Okay, yeah, there's no map. Okay, so you will have to reselect your map, it looks like, every time. And that's fine. That's right. It might become tedious over time, but not too bad. Let's see. So I've got 3 screens. You see me staring in strange directions. I've got my main one, secondary, where you saw Blender. Then up there, I have the actual stream. So, here we go. So what I did yesterday was just this quick block out. I'm using the Wraith to scale things. It's a little off the ground, so it might look like it's not quite right, but it is actually the right width. This the ramp in the middle of the map has always been just barely larger, or I mean wider than the Wraith itself. This one here. It used to be that the wings of the Wraith would scrape across these two if you were not perfectly lined up. And that was, I think, mostly so that they could ensure you're going to run anyone over that's on that ramp, because this map spawned, like, its default was that it would come with a Wraith. And that's why I'm using that as an scaling, example. But basically, yeah, if you look at it from this way, I sized it off. There's a little hump in the middle here that lines up perfectly there. And this is roughly correct. This is the last thing I was doing. It might be a little off. And this looks like pretty terrible. It's just it's a terrain ground piece that's sideways. I'm either going to dress it up by putting rock inside of it, kind of more like I did here and here for the whole thing, or I'm just going to completely replace it with rock, because it's a really simple shape. In the original, it really is almost as smooth as this, if not, more smooth, but with, lower polygon count, so a little blocky. But the point is, it doesn't have any detail, no like crenellations or anything like this little natural crenellation shape over here that I duplicated from the original map. Right now, if you come over here, this is just a sort of progress report at the beginning of the video. I made it so that you can, I think there was one way to get up here if you like. Sprint and crouch and, yeah, clamber. There's a slight way up right there. Got this started. Now, these don't perfectly line up, and that's kind of bothering me, but I need to make the area that gets a little wider there, and so I gotta do it. I might dress it up a little bit, because right now I'm just trying to match texture, and this is the texture that they use. It's just the Halo 2 version in Halo 2, so it's kind of garbage. I can show you actually. This is it in Blender, which is really messed up. The shaders, the textures are all they look a little weird because they're not rendering in the Halo engine, and they also look a little weird because it's ripped straight out of Halo and all that kind of stuff. So they're not necessarily going to come out great, but it's got that connecting ridge thing and the squares and all that. Let's go back to right. Let's turn this off and go back to Master Chief. Infinite. It's got the little connecting ridge, see, with the little lines and the squares. So this is literally the same texture, just the Infinite version, which is way better. I mean, I'm sure they had to rebuild it from scratch, but it's still technically the same texture. So that's what we're doing now, trying to block out this, because I figured, why not get started on the structure in the middle? I wanted to save that for the stream, but also because, I mean, it's just, it wasn't ideal to do it yesterday. I was trying to just block out mostly that cliff, because I'm doing, by the way, I'm only doing half. I'm doing half of the map, and then I'm going to select everything, make it a prefab of just the Waterworks prefab, I guess. And then I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to turn it around, because these are not mirrored. I believe there's no mirror tool yet, but that they're thinking about adding it. They would like to add it. It's on their wish list sort of thing, of things to make. So I'm going to mirror it, and then I'm going to go tweak things. Like if I want to, for example, these are exactly the same. You can see the 3D model. This is the actual 3D model from the game, by the way, but like you can see that little ridge, it's that shape. Same exact shape over here. So most of this entire map was just copied and mirrored. But anyway, since or not mirrored, rotated. Since I can't mirror, I can't mirror it over. That's fine here. Some maps would probably want me to be able to mirror it, but with this one, it's okay. All I need to do is copy it, turn it around, and then put it on the other side, because this is just, this on the opposite side. So if I turn this around, this base would be there, and it would go over there. It'd fit perfect. So, yeah, let's block out this middle building, and that'll be pretty exciting today, I think, getting that done. There are actual Forerunner light objects, so everywhere you see little white spots on this map, those are the light objects. There's some down here, all over the place. I haven't placed any of those, but what I'm doing is I'm putting it at ground level first, while I shape it out, because I was kind of using that big square at the spawn as a scale. I thought it was going to fit around that, and then after I got into it, I was like, actually, with the wraith here, I could scale it off that, and it was a little obvious. I don't know why I didn't think of that, beforehand. But what I thought was going to happen, I mean, it was as I did it, wasn't a problem. I didn't have to redo anything. But what I expected to happen was that it was going to fit around that central square. Yeah, let me just go ahead and look at it. But yeah, I thought it was going to fit around this central square. And so I started there thinking it would wrap around and come around that way. But this central square is huge. Like, this platform is actually massive. I mean, you could have an entire... I mean, they set everything up on this central platform. And, yeah, you could have an entire firefight match on here. Not firefight match, but just a firefight. You could have an entire shootout, entire match on here, starting behind here and going. Which is probably why they put all these, start positions and everything. Anyway, let's get started with the actual block out. Now this is important about, let's see. So I need this platform to be kind of shallow, because it's going to hit these sideway passages and then the ramps. And the ramps are 3 ramps. This thing is very imbalanced with its setup in the middle here, but that's fine. As long as it's, technically basically the same. Well, that's one of the quirks of Waterworks, is that the central shape is not identical on both sides. But also everything's crooked here. Like, you notice, it's a slant. We're gonna grab, stop talking about it and just do it. Okay. So, the main thing here is I need a, what is it? It's in, okay. Yesterday I had it. Structures. Yeah, it's just in structures, I believe. You just go, no? Wrong. Oh, it's just in primitives, right? And I just do block. Primitive block. Forerunner block was interesting. It scales. Let's look at that really quick. Just because you might be interested in that. Anyone who watches this video. Why is my selection not highlighting? Interesting. I don't remember it not doing that before. Let me go see if it'll highlight something else. Weird. My outline is not turning on. Huh. That's a little bit of a bug there. Needed to be able to tell what I'm highlighting, but whatever for now. I'm not that concerned about it. Okay, so if you hold down left trigger, it moves. Right trigger, it rotates. I've got it set to rotate 90 degrees, so let's do 60 so you can see it rotating. You can change how much if you look in the top right corner with the D-pad left and right. You can change that. It's right there in the tooltip on the right-hand side there. Whenever you hold down the right trigger, that's how that pops up. Anyway, if you hold down both left and right trigger at the same time, you get scaling, and you can do this. And this is the cool thing. Watch the corners and the details on this. This is one of those scaling shapes that they talked about, where the shape itself has like 3D geometry, like the grooves that are in this particular shape, with the lights inside. And those lights, you can change their texture and, you know, their lighting color and everything. That all scales with it. You can watch it get bigger and bigger, and they just stay at the edges. And that's really cool. That's really fantastic. I've been wanting something like that since Halo 3. Well, one scaling tool since Halo 3. Okay, so I wonder if I can make it even smaller. Yeah, so there is a minimum size on this object, though. So you gotta keep that in mind. It cannot go any smaller than it looks like a 1x1 unit cube. So that's, you know, that. Let me see if switching into play mode and switching back into this mode will turn on my... No, my selection boxes are just gone. Interesting. Well, I am going to leave and come back in. I haven't done anything to change the map yet, so it shouldn't be a problem. Get back in. Boom. Booty map, 99% complete. Match starting. There we go. So that rusty texture, that's going to be the hardest one to find. It's going to be hardest to find it so that the rusty texture looks like it's dripping downward. Okay, let's see if it... Okay, yeah. Now it's highlighting my objects. Pull it down, you can just boom, boom, boom. Select everything you look at. Anyway, so that's what we need to do. Okay, well, the first thing we got to do is we need that block. We're going to do a primitive block because the Forerunner block is really cool, but I don't think we want those scaling textures for these particular objects because they're all angled in strange ways. UNSC block probably does the same thing. I didn't actually play with this one. Yeah, this one scales the edges with it. This one's going to be especially great because you can make, yeah, you can make a bunch of platforms with this and make it really, really good. If you want a UNSC aesthetic, of course I'm doing Forerunner. Now what I'm going to do is, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to do, oh wait, no, it is what I want to do. I just want to go here. Okay. So you kind of have to find, whenever you're doing this, you kind of have to find which region you're looking at. If you press down the right joystick, like click it, then you can hover around it like classic Forge style. If you click it a few times, it'll find different distances. But you lock yourself onto it, and you can hover around it with the right joystick. If you use the left joystick, it unlocks you. So you gotta just keep the right joystick on. Just move with the right joystick. Okay. So now, okay, I think if I look from this side, you'll see what I mean. So if you change this, let's say blocks, you know, brick sturdy, okay? And then you go down here to swatch 2, different thing. Go to swatch 3, different thing. Well, hold on. Regular brick. Now, you will notice that this does bleed over to other sides. There's 2 sides in each option. This swatch is these 2. This swatch is these 2. And this swatch is these 2. You're gonna need to probably worry about the angles of your bricks So you might need to make just as a heads up. You wanted to, if you press A, you can switch of these. So if you hold down left and right trigger, you just scale completely. You press A, then it gets bigger. While it's bigger, you can use your left joystick to switch between them. So the top one, press A and bring it down, and you can actually make this. Bring this all the way down. I can, let's see, none. Okay. I can make this super flat, as you can see. And I think there is a way to make it, let's see, so the smallest you can get it is like that. But let's say I wanted to make, I have a wall and it's this texture. Oh, okay. It's this texture and I wanted to, and I have a different wall running this way. And at the end of it, the bricks don't line up. You can just put this one inside of that other wall so that the bricks do line up the right direction. You'll understand what I mean if this comes to you. But basically using walls as almost like decals is what you're going to need to do. So we're going to go ahead and do they have a reset? Nope. That's strange. They have a reset for rotation. You can hit Y to do rotation reset. But they don't have a scale or location reset. Makes sense for location. I mean, where was it last? But like for scale, you'd think they would have one. So I'm just gonna hit undo a bunch then until. Now I did find that undo doesn't always put objects back where they're supposed to be. Like if you move an object, it might end up, you know, in the wrong place. Especially rocks, I found. Some other objects are fine, but actually one of these primitive cubes, the platform the Wraith was on, ended up on top of the Wraith. So that's why the Wraith is hovering above it right now. I was worried that if I move anything, it'll mess it up again. Wow, you got a lot of undos too. The history is great. Oh wow, this is just going through. Ah, okay, never mind. We're not gonna go through every single history of that block. We're just gonna make a new one. Okay, blocks, primitive block. So we do need to remember the textures. So that the reason I was pointing that out is so that we can region 1 is so that we can look at these and know what we're looking at. So there's a whole bunch of forerunners. This is forerunner emissive. This one's just a block. Now, this one just makes the whole thing emissive, it looks like. I don't know if you can just make a single side of an object emissive, but the forerunner plate does only apply to that side. Oh, you can just, okay, that's cool. I didn't know about that. Okay, so apparently if you're on it, you can just hit left with the joystick and it will go left. If you hit right, it'll go right. Or rather, it'll go down. In this list, it'll go down if you go to the right, and it'll go up if you go left. So you don't have to go into it every time, and you can just switch through it. That's cool because I did not do that yesterday. And I was just trying each and every option. We're gonna get to a good angle, yeah, so we can see that, you know, normals map activate. That is not what I wanted. Let's go back to there. Okay. Okay. Now, there we go. Forerunner metal. And you can kind of see what we're looking at here. It's probably going to be forerunner metal, and I'm going to increase the grime. I'm going to see if I can find one that's like skid marks. Because let's go take a look at the texture that they have in the actual Halo 2 map. Because it is very... It's like clearly water streaks coming down, which I would love to be able to figure out a way to make that line up perfectly. But I can't guarantee anything, but otherwise it looks like a big rusty lump of metal. Now we can even, because we're in Blender right now, we can go down to Forerunner Rust Gray. Is that the one? Probably. UV editing. We can select Forerunner rusty gray. Oh, it's slightly translucent. That means that there's another thing that's underneath the rust. Probably just gray. Gray 50%. So here's Forerunner rusty blue. And Forerunner rusty gray. So, okay, so it's just basically nothing. It's plate rusted. Interesting, but so the important thing to remember here is that this is literally just a brown or gray with rust applied to it. So that means we can do whatever we want as far as that's concerned, as long as it's got the wear and tear on it. We obviously don't have this. I mean, I could just find a flat gray, but I feel like finding a sort of Forerunner-y style is probably better. These are diagonal lines. That might be good for those diagonal, pieces. The problem is that they have to then transition into vertical pieces, and the pattern won't match up. This one wouldn't be bad. Having a lot of small detail might look good. And we're looking at these are actual wall patterns. That's good. Frost. Okay. So this is basic metal. I think that's what we're gonna do because they just have as rusty metal in the original. Now roughness, if you bring this to 0, makes it super shiny. As you can see. It's like insanely shiny, and as you bring it up, it gets less and less shiny until it is 100% roughness is at 1. Metal, you can be off, and it'll stop sort of being shiny. You can do that if you want to, especially if you force on or if you source the value. So, like rocks aren't metal, so you can turn them on or turn them on instead of turn them off, and that'll add that. Anyway, so we're gonna go down here. There's down here scratch and grime, scratch amount. That can increase drastically. We can choose the grime level. I guess we can go, let's go up to the very top. Well, 400 panels are good to start with. 400 floor panel. Okay, there's a floor panel. Yeah, we're looking at a bunch of different stuff. Oh, I see. Interesting. This is just adding a little bit of texture to it. Okay, alright. I thought it was going to be a little different. What was it set to originally? Grime, right. Irregular, leaves, lights, distortion. Okay, that's interesting. That's really cool. So it's basically adding another layer of texture on top of it. Metal brushing. This looks pretty good. And we can increase the amount of grime by making it more intense, just to make it more intense, I mean. Yeah, I might do the metal brush, because it sure is putting lines on it. Now those lines aren't going to match up with the ground, so that's unfortunate. Because obviously I can't rotate. It would be nice if I could rotate the scratch and grime layer specifically. That way it would look like, for example, if you've got a one shape, you want to make it look like tanks have driven over it over and over and over again. So you put in scratches and stuff like that. You want the scratches to line up with the direction that you want it to look like the tanks have been driving. So that would be a really nice feature to have, would be to be able to rotate specifically the scratch and grime layer. You can rotate the entire object for the main layer, and I don't know, maybe it would be cool just to be able to rotate any layer. But that's rotating UVs is a lot of programming, so very different from rotating an object. So So basically, yeah, we got that. We just got to set this to the same as the top one, which we chose the Forerunner metal. Let's see. There's a bunch of banished ones, but there are no specific banished objects, which is what they were talking about whenever they said they wanted to add. You know, banished objects is one of the things they're working on right away. So all sides will look the same now, roughly. Obviously, they have different dirt and grime layers, which I appreciate. Having all the four sides have the same grime layers would be really terrible. The cool thing is, like, this side has really beat up corners. This side doesn't. So you can have like you can play around a little bit with what you're dealing with what your map looks like, and you'll want to like you know, move things around and rotate them in the right way to create a really good aesthetic. All right, now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make that main one, and we're gonna have to place a few that are different, you know, rules and stuff like that. But hopefully that's not a problem. But for the ones that are at an actual angle, I might use one of these dirt layers that have, like this one for example, get rid of the streaks entirely and do this one on the ones that I have to have lined up with the ground, because that will add those sort of streaks to it. Anyway, let's get to it. If you hold down right trigger, hit the X button, it changes that one. Blue is always forward to back to you, and that's how you rotate that way. Like if you rotate back, that's always forward to back with you. But then you hit the X button, and it'll change if it's rotating this way or this way. Some people from Halo 5 probably know a lot of these kinds of things I'm pointing out. I, you know, skipped Halo 5, so that doesn't apply to me. And I had to get used to a lot of these controls. Now this is at exactly 45 degrees. I know because Master Chief can walk up it, and it looks exactly like 45 degrees. And that's how Forerunner aesthetic used to be. They were always, you know, turned at very specific rotational integrals. We have probably the right thickness for what we're doing already, but let's go ahead, and so what we're going to do is we're going to make it this, so it's, you know, blue and green, but no red. We're going to scale it up a lot, probably around here. We're going to find out exactly as we go, but for now, we're eyeballing it. Now we can you change, you can change where it rotates. You can toggle, oh, where is it? Change rotation type. If you hit, okay, that changes that. Where's the, change pivot is up on the D-pad. So you can pivot off the ground, off the base of the object, or off its middle, which is really cool. Being able to change that location is really nice. I believe you can change move type. No, you can't do the same thing here. Or with scale. Those are always from where they are. So we're going to go ahead and move this down. This is going to clip with the ground very heavily, and with the, you know, everything, because like I said, this is all going to be raised up. I think I said this already. Building it on the ground level, going to select everything and raise it up really high. Might do that now. I know I haven't. Wasn't thinking about doing it right away, but I might. We're gonna undo that. And what we're gonna do is we're actually going to rotate 45 degrees all the way around in a circle. And then we're gonna scale it. By this method will keep us lined up and make it a lot easier. There needs to be some like clipped corners here, which is going to require me to make one of these, but sort of like there. I might be able to find another triangle shape to place there, which would be nice, but I'm not sure if they exist yet. I haven't looked for them. But in the meantime, I'm blocking it out with just regular primitives. Should we move it up now? I was gonna center it once I had, the actual 3D model here. You've got these struts that go real deep. That blackness would be a water texture, but this model didn't come with a water texture for some reason. I think it's one of the universal textures that doesn't. They used to have a few universal objects and textures and stuff like that. Those going really, really deep means that I need to have this hole be really deep to have the same effect. And what I was looking at is that those are going to allow me to center the map very easily once I get up really high inside the larger swamp world. The problem is that it's not really a problem. I mean, I could have it off center. Easily just lift this up exactly where it is, and the whole map would be off center by that amount, And that's not a big deal. Knowing it's like that would bother me. But realistically, it's not a big deal. Just a little bit particular, so it would bother me. But I can eyeball it too, based on the shape of this, because I know I'm going to mirror it, and based on the width of that, which actually isn't final, so it'd be a little weird to do. But that rock? Yeah, I think it did. There might be another rock over here. No, I hadn't had to put one in yet. Okay, so there wasn't a rock there. Alright, so if let's go to change move type, world. Go straight up. Snap to ground. It's a very interesting button there. I think that was mostly for vehicles. If it's got physics, it snaps to the ground underneath. Looks like. Yep. See, that's what I mean. Undo and redo can really fuck stuff up. Now it's all fucked up. Okay, so undo and redo is not perfect, and everything we've done so far is lost because I forgot to save before we moved anything. Yeah, so bear that in mind. This is definitely a beta, and you saw it live. You're watching this. No one's watching this right now, so you saw it on recording. All right, let's go ahead and quit. I'm still new. There's no audience for me yet. You're gonna get to watch me grow. If I do get any audience. Here we go then. Start back over for the day. With this, you could practically I could practically clip the entire video to here, but whatever. We're gonna leave it. Get some I might start ideas a lot, never finish them, just so you know. But hopefully, if I get any kind of viewership, they'll be like, "Hey, what were you saying about that?" Be like, "Oh, yeah, I was saying about that, wasn't I? My bad." All right, so we're gonna go ahead. You can actually hold down the X button; it'll do this. It's a little easier. Okay, primitives, blocks, primitive. All right, over here. Go down here. What is carapace for? Is that for Metal. I guess carapace is for Forerunner. I mean, Covenant structure, but I'm not sure. Forerunner panel. Or floor panel. No, that's not right. What are we doing? It's metal. There we go. Didn't go down all the way. Alright, so I think I brought scratches up to max. Actually, is that a grime layer that's got streaks to where I don't have to do the metal? I did like the way that looked, but some might still switch it, but okay. Okay, what does this top one look like? Yeah. A little wavy looking, like water dripping down. That's not bad. Yeah, okay. I guess I'll use this instead of that other one I did. The streaks. Alright, now let's rotate it this way then. Well, actually, this is going to be an angled block. So if I can find one that has an angle. All the dirt is at straight. Angles, directions. Basically the same on all sides. Okay. Alright. Ooh, not that one. Okay. That should be good. A little bigger. Okay. Now, like I said, we're going to want to move everything at once, and we're going to have to move it without hitting the undo button. So, obviously, we're going to save. And that should be everything. Raise it all up. Before we raise it up, let's sort of line it up. So that this path should be central to the map. And yeah, that is lopsided, by the way. So those... I have noticed this. There's some things that like get in the way. Like right now, it won't let me go any higher. There we go. Must be hitting something. There's an invisible barrier. Maybe I have to turn off increments. There, now I'm free to go wherever I want. Okay. There's some kind of weird increment movement bug. But, yeah, interesting. So, go down. I don't mind if you clip. You can just clip right into the ground, buddy. I wonder if it's because I have the wraith selected. Nope, now it's letting me. I don't know what it was doing before. Very strange. And okay. Well, basically, those objects there are the middle of the big square. I'm just sort of eyeballing it, lining it up with these white squares on snapping point on the object. And then I'm gonna eyeball this platform. Also line up with both of these little arrow shapes in the geometry. That should be fine. That's the thing about it, is that, yeah, no, lined up with it. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because you can place your own. Yep, and it won't let me go up now. It lets me go down, but it won't let me go up. I've got to go over, and then I can go up, and then I can come back over. And now it won't let me go any higher again. That's really weird. There are definitely some quirks with this map editor for now. But I'm sure a lot of that stuff is going to get worked out over time. So that's my roof. That's how high I can go. That's more than enough. Going any higher would be crazy. Honestly, I probably could come back down. But I want to make that fall something where whenever your Spartan dies, you fall for almost the entire respawn time. And in 343 Industries, Halo games, respawn timer is 10 seconds a lot of times, or 8 seconds or something. Anyway, it's longer than the original Halo games, the original, or the Bungie era Halo games, which are usually, I think, what, 6 seconds? Something like that. And then if you get killed as a, as the result of a self-destruct, you, it's significantly longer. It gets longer and longer. It used to get up to 15 seconds. So, got ourselves a very, and this is what I was, did I just delete it? Yes, it did. I meant to hit back. Like I said at the beginning, these are cool. They are, but I'm probably going to end up rebuilding them, possibly like deleting them and replacing all these objects later. For now, they work out great. This is even accurate to a piece on the original geometry. I think these rocks, though, have been altered between the two sides. I could be wrong. I'll have to look at the 3D model. But yeah, so let's start really blocking this out. Let me go ahead and here. Oh man, I wasn't on Forge for any of that. I see. Well, this video is gonna be pretty crapshoot. Dang. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. What I'd really like to do is this. We're gonna go ahead and shrink this down. It's gonna shrink down. I have no idea what I have selected if it's not shrinking. This one. Interesting. Just gonna shrink it. Oh, this is okay. Well, I was trying. I was thinking about trying to set this up in the corner. Oh, I've got it locked. That's dumb. Force. Okay, here we go. So you can see what I'm doing in both at the same time. So I'll keep on switching, and that way I won't mess it up. Okay, and that doesn't really get too much in the way, because there's nothing down there. I think, let's see if some menus go down there, but it only cuts off one thing. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. That works. Like I said, so a lot of this stuff is going to get replaced. Like, I don't like these too much, but if they're replaced with some rock on the inside, they're sort of like just a guide for me. But yeah, Here we go. What we're gonna do is I'm going to grab, open up this. You can kind of see, just so that I've got no lighting on. Like this is with lighting. And then we've got that, and then we've got some simple shapes, some simple geometry. You might be able to make out what you're looking at here better. So this is what we're going to do right here in the lower right corner. You can see. Got this going on with this slope. I think I'm going to make this an object leading to here, then this maybe, and then this going down. But I might just make this one big piece and then make this and make a small rectangle here. The point is we'll find out which one looks better. Let's see. For one thing, I did not scale this time in what is happening now. My tool thing is gone. Oh, it's because I have more than one thing selected. It's not gone. I think that's important to remember. You can stop messing yourself up like that. That looks about right, but we will find out as we go. Adjust thicknesses if we need them. Adjust it. Really quick, let's see. Master Chief can still walk on 45-degree angles. Yes, yes he can. That is still sort of staple of the game. Excuse me. Okay. Going to duplicate it. Gonna move the duplicates. I think prime layers. It'd be really nice if we could put these grime layers in at 45-degree. I mean, even just a diamond object, just so that the textures are at a 45-degree angle, would be nice. We're gonna turn on. Let's see. Gonna do this one a lot longer. This all goes into the rock, so actually, there's no real defined length it needs to be, except for at the top. Like down at the bottom, the geo right here, it just hits the rock, goes right into it, so we can just do that, and then we can turn it around and angle it. It needs to get this high, which is hard to see, sure, on any screen. It's right here. It's a little dark line. Okay. We need to work out the exact height. Probably, I think I'm going to need to work it out with my much smaller block. Placed inside of this one at the top. So one thing I wasn't really sure about is how do you snap magnets off? No, I do want magnets on. Okay, maybe I should increase my snaps. There we go. Here's to line up with it. There's obviously some geometry issues, I mean some texture issues where it's trying to fight itself. That's where your scaling comes in. And increase the scale just a tad. And boom, you're good. Now, is this dirt the way I want it right now? So those streaks are not real. Those streaks are a result of the scaling. That's something that needs to be kept in mind. Also, this needs to probably be a bit lower, a little bit shorter. That. It's not coming out the top. And actually, needs to be a little bit. Ooh, okay. We're gonna just straight up undo that and turn it around so that I can bring it in this angle. There we go. I've got a bit there. Do I like it like this, or do I want it to be scaled in so that goes into this one? Yeah, that's probably for. But anyway, just because this is the more prominent texture, is the larger one. That also means I can exact there. A lot easier. So this one we're going to want to do our grime layer. So let's switch to that what was it, metal corrugated? See how that looks. Ooh, that looks nice and brown like the original. Interesting. Nice and rusty brown. I think I'm gonna do that, actually, like we did last time. Metal corrugated. Wonder if I'd done these all at the same time, if it would change. Let's see. That one, and that one. Yep. Okay. Well, I'll do that next time. Makes more sense. Okay, so this one's very, very nice and rusty. And the right design. See, I probably chose a side. It's not as ideal. Oh, okay. So we are going to want to bring that down. You know, we've got that grime amount is at 1. Let's bring this back down to scratch amount. Is that what we can bring up? Okay, so that's the edge wear. Actually, we'll bring that to 0 because the edges are not. Foreigner metal simple, that's what we're looking at, right? Okay, so something about this is not loading correctly. It's definitely not the simple metal Forerunner material. Oh, wait, I was just looking at only one side. Did I have it wrong on one of these? Let's see. Forerunner metal simple. Forerunner metal simple. And what's number 3? Forerunner metal simple. So it's correct over here, but it is not correct over here. So that's what they were talking about. Wait, is it? Oh, I see. Never mind. It is correct over here. That's lighting shine. it's got a different shine to it than I expected, that's all. Okay. Interesting. So, in that case, let's find out what else we need here. So we've got our flat here. We're going to need to have another continuous piece here. And it's going to go into a vertical piece here. And, yeah. And then, of course, we're going to want to take all of this all the way down to here and duplicate it and turn it into this. And that will give us, and then have that end in this piece. That will give us our thin piece and our thick piece here. Okay. And of course, if we select all of this and we scale, cannot scale multiple objects at once. See? So you can rotate and you can move, but you can't scale them at once. And I suspect that that is going to be added later, but that's just a, you know, a guess. It's not necessarily going to happen. But it's also not, you know, the worst thing ever. Okay, so this needs to actually be below, well below our platform up there. And if it's below our platform, actually this whole thing probably needs to be shifted to the right by a significant this. I scale these so that now it's gonna get, what's happening here? Oh, am I snapping? Okay, snapping to tiny world. Okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, no, it's gonna go in both directions. Okay, I need to make sure this is ridiculously long. Like, ludicrously long. And this one as well. Because I need to not have to scale it again with it, you know, and still keep it flipping into the wall. So that means that this one can now come this way. Bring it back down. When I get me a little closer there. There we go. Nope, still not perfect. Well, that's fine because I can actually snap this one to there instead and use the magnets to pull me in there. Nope. What are with the magnets? Like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of influence on the, you know, the work in these magnets. Okay. Probably would have been better to have started with objects that are square with the platforms instead of these angled ones. And I might switch to that. This is what's on the outside of the building. So, and actually looking at it, I mean, come on, there's not a whole lot of stuff that is square with the building. Everything's sloped at an angle. It's all swooping upward there. And up here, I mean, I guess this area is squared way. So if I had been looking at it like this, the platform I have already would lead into this. But I have started it like this, so I've made it harder for myself. Which is fine. But let's find out what we can do here to make this better. Okay. Duplicate. Slide this up here. Scale it in. Okay, so let's bring that down, line it up with this. We're gonna have walls and railing on that, so that'll be hidden. We can make it, oh no, you know what, we want the textures to line up if we can. I think that may not be possible. Because every time we adjust the length, it's going to adjust the texture, and the texture doesn't line up side to side. So that's not necessarily even going to be possible. Like, I've got it turned around. Yep. We want that hallway texture to match up with this floor texture. Is going to be a whole lot of nonsense we'll have to do. So what we're going to do instead is not that. Okay. Scratch amount is going to be 0. Because we don't want that. We don't want that on there. We're going to have railing, and the railing can have scratches, but this floor pattern needs to be devoid of scratches to try and make it look more seamless. That's not what I wanted. That was how you switch into play mode. The delete button now was switch into play mode and like reach on Master Chief Collection. Something like that. Something like that. But yeah. Let's take care of this side. If we do this inner building first, I was doing this, but if we do the inner building first, then that would probably be for the best, because it's just it'll be easier to line it up with everything else. Like when I get that done and I'm going this way, I can use this, and actually I can, you know, I'm working with a 3D model here. I could easily isolate out this shape, this, and go in here and hit see-through. And then I'm just going to select a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be selected because it's in the background. But that's okay, because all I want to do is get rid of this. And what I'm going to do is, for now, I am going to, I've already saved off the model how it is. You can see the little asterisk, which means, you know, it's not saved, but that's not true. obviously, because I've just done some weird stuff. So I'm going to deselect a few of these faces that I'm going to need the inner shape still. And then I've got everything I need to hide. I'm going to make it a separate object. Tab out of edit mode, tap back into, well, hit slash twice, and now the entire panel is gone. We're actually missing a little hole in the geometry right here now. You're going to notice it's going to look really weird. But that's just because, you know, that's just how it is. There was a hole there. And we're going to back out. We're going to hide the new piece so we can see the whole area. And that's that for now. Now I can really use that as an example. Okay, go ahead and save it over here before I end up doing something that ruins it. So that is actually this part here. It's actually, that's interesting because I think I need to lower and move everything because as you can see, this kind of leads into this part. And this part is slightly like the wider part and the hallways, sideways, line up here, which is, we line up the bridge with itself. You can see that, you know, that's there. Yeah, so we're actually too long by a significant amount. So if we come over here and we go in this, we can then and that means we can duplicate this one, which will then rotate around, come over here. And then we can go ahead and we'll duplicate this one, but there's a really good chance we're going to delete one and reduplicate it. To get the snaps to appear on other objects. That's what. Still some quirks like that I haven't learned. Obviously I could have just edited the location based on this cardinal direction, but whatever. Okay, so this building is actually, it occurs to me, not gonna be mirrored. Yeah, so we're going to mirror the geometry all around this building and use this building to line up the geometry, as well as some side pieces. Make the tunnel, the cave look good, but obviously, this is where it really needs to line up. So rather than making this piece only half of the building, because it's not going to mirror the middle, this middle building is not, it would need to have a mirror tool. We can't just copy it and then rotate it around because it's not different on opposite sides. This thing needs to be 100% finished out. That is pretty important. Let's see, duplicate. Rotate around because the reason I keep rotating these things around, by the way, in case anyone's wondering, is that I am trying very hard to... Oh, okay, so that's how you do it. First you look at both. You want to look at both, and then... So, okay. That'll work. So if I rotate this around, I can actually probably scale it in the right way to make it match here, but I don't want the scale of the shape of the object. No, I'm sneezing today. But I don't want the scale of the object to be determined by the texture on it. I want it to be the other way around. I mean, I want the scale to be completely separate. But yeah. Yeah, being able to sprint is going to be crazy compared to, you know, what Halo 2 is like. It's going to make this map feel very different, even if it's 1-to-1, even if we can get it perfect. So let's see now. Okay. Up next we've got... need to return this. So, is this correct, though? We line up here. See that the angled slope in is going to be before this. And this side is actually, in the original geometry, much smaller than this side. I don't know if you can see that on that tiny little screen in the lower right corner. Let me turn the textures back on. But you can kind of see it this distance, which is the wide portion, you know, it gets wider here. This wide portion plus the thin portion is only that long. But over here, the wide portion right here plus the thin portion is much, much longer. Let's see. I am noticing though that this is really thin. Actually, you know what? No. We're looking at it, you know, there's this area. So these can go and clip through the ground. That's fine. That's just part of this bigger geometry. And this little shape here will make it feel like it's not just clipping through the ground. It'll sort of unify it. But this piece is what we're looking at on the in Forge. Over here, the width it's really shallow. No, it goes deep into there. Okay. So actually, yeah, actually I've got my bridges wrong. I need to end here. It's like there. Okay. My side bridges are way too long. Bridges. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. This needs to go in a lot more. And we'll figure out all of this, especially also with that bridge down there. Okay, we're going to select both at the same time. Right, no scaling, both at the same time. So, redo. Put a keylogger. I wonder if I can do that. I wonder if I can do... how do you add a keylogger? Text scene, image, game capture. It's not a separate thing in this, if there is one. Probably is a filter. Order, transform, set color, select items. Okay, filters. Apply LUT. I don't know what LUT is. Chroma key color correct. Group path. Okay, so it's probably a separate program that I'll have to get if I want to do a keylogger. I was just thinking about how I'm doing all these inputs and it's not necessarily visible what I'm doing. Let's see. Not that deeper though. This needs to be shallower though. Like, that's what we're looking at over here. Is that this right here ends up coming into almost just shy of, maybe it is in the middle. Yeah, the middle of this thinner platform, which ends around here. So we go in and we select this. Technically needs to move to incorrectly. Let's select both. So if this is at all accurate, which it is fairly accurate, we'll move this way. We do. Should go to the middle of it. Now the depth of this platform isn't necessarily, you know, correct. Kind of eyeballed it so far. And I was planning on, you know, going back over all of it to adjust it once I had the width of the doorways at the bottom. But I had to, you know, use this to go off of. So if I planned this out a little better, I probably would have started with this building. But then it would have been harder to know the exact size of everything in the building from the outside. So I don't know, probably wouldn't have helped. Well, I mean, for example, this should be just about touching the building. Like, you can see, I definitely need to work on some things. Like this is, from this side, nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Which means the whole scale of it is off. Which is a problem. Like this should be all the way back here. Then I use the shape correctly off of, you know, ratios from one another, which means I did not make it big enough at all. Let's go ahead and put this back to this. That's better. You know what else though? We can actually select a different mode here. Let's see if there is one. Matte cap is a good one. You can, for example, do this. It's usually really good while 3D modeling, but right now I don't think it's the best option. Trying to see what's most visible on there. Tune. Actually, kinda. That's terrible. Just awful. These are all default textureless effects. This one's really good for, like, whenever you're sculpting, it's designed to look like clay. And this one as well. Alright, so we'll go back to default for now. Flat is not the option. What I want to do is turn on cavity. That'll really help. Cavity is, it adds those dark outlines around everything. If there's like that edge there, turn off cavity and it will disappear. Sort of adds an outline to everything, almost like it's not cell shading. People get that confused. They think the outline means cell shading, but that's not the case. It's actually just, you know, Cell shading is about if the lighting of the shadows is like a progressive thing. It gets darker and darker and darker with a gradient, and it's normal shading. Cell shading is it goes in cells, so it's dark, and then there's a little area that's a little bit lighter. There's a little area that's a little bit lighter, you know, that kind of thing. But this cavity will make it a lot easier to see everything. And actually, I hadn't really noticed this inner strut until now. That's going to be part of this slope. So that's really cool. And that slope, oh man. That's going to be an interesting thing to have to build out. I'm probably going to have to make it flat blocks. Like a flat blocks facade instead of a full deep block. Because if it's a full deep block, then that's going to be, it's going to clip up through the floor. Anyway, we need to figure this out. So everything here is wrong, essentially. I was kind of making the thickness right with these, and I don't like these at all. Like the way I did this was built out in a way that made sense based off of the materials I was using, but not based off the actual scale. And that's the problem. I think I just need to build it out of, you know, components. We can turn this on while we're working on this. Because I chunked out part of the bridge whenever I was doing that. Okay. Yeah, this didn't go nearly far enough. This was what I was doing at the end of the day yesterday. Boy, did I get that wrong. The whole thing is not long enough. That's the problem, is that it's not. I don't know if this is the correct shape to use, because it gets me an approximation of what, but it's not really all the way there. That's probably more to the scale what we're working. And this needs to quickly, sharply turn. Into a bit. What that means is that this is a little bit bigger. And because I'm not liking these, I'm going to be replacing them. This is just going to become a guide. And guide is going to help me. Later on, I'm going to replace these with other game objects that fill out the same shape. They're not going to look the same. They're going to look nicer. Okay, so wait. These guys. Okay. I can probably scale these up because these were shaped really nicely to the terrain. So, to the actual model. So as long as I make them bigger like this, that should help. Height-wise, these are probably still pretty accurate. The way I had them. Now this gets actually much thicker as well, so let's go ahead and thicken it up a bit. And that should give us a much nicer shape. There's this part gets a little bit thinner, but not that much thinner. Whenever I was messing with these, I was finding that they was feeling very thin and strange. So I'm really glad I'm getting to thicken these back out because it was pretty awful. Oh, that's going to be an interesting bit of geometry. I don't know if I like this. A hiding hole to allow you to attack in like that. I guess there's one of those on the original level to a degree. No, there isn't. I saw a slope there, but it was an illusion angle. Okay, so that's gonna be a bit of a problem potentially. I think I don't want that. I mean, it would be really cool to have for like my redesign, but I don't think it would be cool to have for the one-to-one version. Oh, look, my little, and it's gone. So you see what I mean? I mean, I don't know if I want to have that for the one-to-one. I might put a little rock there, and then just to make it smooth so you can't hide back there, and then delete it for my remake because I kind of like that. Being able to hide back there and then jump out and attack a wraith or something like that might be cool. But I don't know if it'll actually be. Might be garbage. So this is probably a 45-degree slope, but I don't know for sure. Fortunately, in Blender, no, it's not one. So the cool thing about Blender is, though, that if I tab into edit mode and I select some faces, let's say these two faces here, and I click over here, I can tell it to do edge angle. No, base angle. Okay, I need to reset that camera thing. Okay, here we go. Get all of these. We're gonna actually dissolve faces here, or dissolve edges, I mean, and that will make. Nope. What did you do? 343. Dissolve edges. Weird. Okay, it has to do with. Right. That's right. They have some weird stuff going on with They don't have all of their. Oh, okay. They actually have a bit of a shift in the angle right there. Interesting. I might need to incorporate that. But anyway, so show me, what am I looking at here? What are my angles? So the face, let's hit rotate and see what changes. Which one of these is changing? None of them. This looks like edge angles. What's going on here? Base angle. And then there's edge angle. Rotate Y. None of this. Well, I thought that was going to be simple. I don't know why that isn't so simple. Normals. I've done it before, but I can't think of what I'm doing wrong. Okay, well. It's probably this is something you can do, is that, first of all, move this up. Secondly, let's just get back into Forge and do it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up to, it's probably one of these, because that's how it is. Yeah, no, definitely not that. Let's go to 15 degrees. Looks about right. This is probably a 15-degree angle, and the reason is just because that's just how Bungie did things with Forerunner Forerunner structures. You don't see them ever showing any kind of like, they don't deviate very much from that concept, from the idea of perfect, right angles. Well, not right angles specifically, but yeah. And they do have a little bit of a mini slope here. It's slightly less, and a little bit of a shift here. But I do believe that they have it at 30 degrees is the actual... The main slope is 30 degrees. And we might do that too, just to smooth out how it transitions. Because it's definitely... an important aspect of the app's design, I think, to get this right. Central, the central ramp is like, one of the big important parts of the map. Okay, so this, I don't know how long we're gonna need it, but that's going to affect the height. It's a little annoying. I guess we're gonna do a little bit more. I was just thinking if I should be building out the slight slopes as well, because I can't really line things up properly without that. But I can actually rebuild the slope based on having them. A little later on, I can adjust their depth, and make it to where it's gradual and still lines up perfectly. But this has to go under that to there. Actually, how much farther? Let's do some moving itself. Okay. How much farther does it go in there? It goes down and then it's flat. Okay. So this section is really going to be an altered version of the flat section, but it really does just barely go past that. Might be a little bit less than that, actually. Yeah, that's more like it. And actually, this is not touching. Oh, it's touching up here. It's not touching down here because of the... Okay, so we're going to duplicate this. And we're going to rotate it back to... And we're going to grab this, bring it in. Bring it in, bring it in. Okay, so how do you get the weights to show up? I think I'm looking at the other object. Not sure how to make them turn on. There we go. Guess it's lining up now. Woo! Okay. Now, how much farther does it go? Okay, so it doesn't go a whole lot farther in that. It's right around half. This would be the halfway mark. So just Under halfway. We accidentally scale it the right way. Yeah. Much, I mean, I think that maybe very slightly shorter. Oh, there we go. Seems to have. Okay. Then much wider section. So the way it looks is, oh, we're gonna need to make. Oh, right. This is not. Is this flush with the same structure? Slightly angled. So I think they did this because they needed to make it so that you could get into and out of this middle area with the tank. You need to be able to go in and turn. So if you look real closely, I'm going to turn those off because they're probably just annoying noise to most people. We're going to tab back out at it. Something else, or just click on the camera. Okay, so if you look closely, you'll notice that this angle here is different from this angle. If you look down on it, you can see that this line is sloped because this is further in than this side is. And so we need this thing to go all the way to here in a straight rectangle so that we can make these slopes, and we can make them one side slightly different from the other, because that is apparently how it's done. Now, we are probably going to, by the way, when we duplicate half the map to the other side, we're going to duplicate the bridge with it. So I'm not going to build the bridge out on this side. I'm just going to make this bridge line up with this perfectly. And make this side be exactly the same as that side if I can. At least that's the thought. Okay. So that means that we actually didn't have it perfect. We actually do want it to stretch out over there. All the way out. Which also means that much. Adjust it this way. Do I have to like... There we go. Now they're magnetic together. That should... That'll work for now. Then we'll line up everything accordingly. That gives us a bit of a ramp. We can kind of see what's happening. Kind of sort of see it coming together. Okay. So this... Oh, you know, forgot about this ramp. Very slight incline. Interesting. Okay, so these are not right. That incline is there. These are not right, and that's right at this one. Oh, it's a great little indicator. And see, without cavity, I didn't even notice that. Forgot it existed. So turning on cavity is very So if I resume, that would be a nice tool to have. 343 ever is watching. A ability to hide objects. I want to be able to just hide an object. But oh, not entirely necessary yet. I suppose. Okay, so if that's there, well, let's go ahead and turn this back on. Yeah, it would be blocking it off. Actually, it lines up. Oh, okay, look at that. Look, this line lines up pretty much exactly with this. So we can actually, once we get these right, you know, once we get those right, we could theoretically use them to line up our line. There. Although it probably would be best to have that be indicator for where the line should be and not the other way around. Still. Like the ones in the original are probably. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a look. Compare that to turn on the textures. Is this actually 45 degrees? Sure, certainly looks like it. Yeah, that's actually 45 degrees. Good, so we have that right. Let's go back to this. Let's see this. So this is much thinner than this is. By a significant margin. This might be right for here. This is definitely right here. It's because I originally was going to do thick portion and thin portion poking at the top. Which might still be for the best to do it that way. So I might rebuild this, but so I feel like as it is, it's gonna be kind of a pain. Let's see. No, these textures blend very nicely together side by side like this. Because that's the direction of the streaks. If I have one of them end and another one begin, then some of the streaks might just look a little weird. Yeah, I like it like this more. Go with the length. Split it up like that, you know, down the line. It's probably a good idea. Okay, so we're going to duplicate this. And to drag it, drag it by ones. Okay, down here. There. Snap it. And oh. Now that is looking texture change. distance, it looks off. And you can see that seam. How best to handle this? That's a good question. Let's not do. Well, for now, it looks okay. We'll fix it later. What I want to do now, actually. Can't get up there. I was hoping I could hear there. That's not gonna. Oh, I don't think you can get into vehicles unless you do hold down the back button. So none of that, unfortunately. Okay, so this is partially in the base. The slopes will be coming out of this 45 degree. Which is something that I might... Okay, let's start thinking about that. Let's try and figure that out. Primitive pyramids. Could theoretically use a pyramid and shape it right, but that seems weird. Got trapezoids, should help. Actually, should I? Triangles are what we need. What we're actually looking for. That is tiny. This will get us some 45-degree angles. Yes. Well, that snapped nicely. Let's scale it up, though. Oh, that wouldn't be 5. Wait, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Still haven't had my coffee yet today. It's always fun. Okay, let's go. I think it's that. There we go. No? Let's see. Let's see. We're going to select a material. Forerunner. What's our material over here? What is it? Forerunner metal simple for 2 of the regions. I think the final one, or the first one, top one. Forerunner panel C. So Forerunner panel C. Oh, okay, so we're not getting difference because that's just the wrong side of the platform. Wait, what? Oh, that was dumb. Okay. Oh, jeez. That's annoying. Rotation reset. And now we're back at correct intervals and cool. Okay, now we magnet it to the right spot. Now we go in and hit this. Now we go to C. Forerunner panel C. Forerunner panel C, and the first one, which is up here. Forerunner panel C. Okay, so now we're looking at a new issue. So this is not exactly right because the angle doesn't go to a flat. It's a equilateral triangle. Isosceles triangle, I believe. Okay. There's trapezoids, and that one would get me what I'm looking at. So, what I'm looking for. So, I might try this and see if the textures get all wonky. Scale it up. Actually, scale it up. Too thick, but that's okay. We will adjust the okay, thickness in a moment. Bring this down. There we go. Adjust this. Not what I meant to do. Yeah, it is. Sorry. This way. Alright, we're going to undo that. Flip it all the way over. And then scale it by this because there we go. And then we're going to change our regions to C, to Forerunner panel C. Our sides of our panels and stuff like that should never be visible, so that shouldn't be a problem. And we're gonna go down to, can we go up? No, it's faster to go down anyway. I think. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Bring scratches down to 0. Grime amount. Yeah, I would say there'd be a bunch of grime down here. Just like on the slope. Not so much on this slope, actually. I've got this metal scratched instead of grime. Which I think was for this one. Feels about right. Feels like everything's sliding down this ramp and then ending up down here. Making this all muddy and gross because, you know, Waterworks. Now what this means, of course, is that both sides are the same. And we were just talking about how one side is slightly different. They're both 5 degrees. One of them should, what, like a 30 degree, something like that. Okay, so this isn't exactly what we really want, but also more importantly, if we have this, we've got to bring this into here. Was it roughly around there? Because it has to be just past halfway. A little bit. This lines up with just past halfway point there. And that would be fine. Do you think that this triangle here is not necessary anymore? We could do this. Could just take this as the solution, and what we would do is actually, like, it might be that, yeah, we don't want it to go as wide as this trapezoid has become, so it'll clip into the wall and then just be inside there, but that'll be fine because this platform is the width that we need to worry about. I'm pretty sure this trapezoid being at 45 degrees, yeah, it's way too wide. We actually want a platform in the middle. We want the 45 degrees, but I'll explain what I'm thinking. If I do this, then it warps the shape of that angle to no longer be 45 degrees. If I do this, it does the same. If I warp both of them together, it loses the width of the platform. As you can see, no longer lining up with the width of the platform. So what we need to do is just first of all, that's not that. Bring this in. No. Okay. Oh, it's snapping to that. Okay. Actually, that would be a great point for it to snap to. Once I get the width correct. It's the angle. That should snap to there. Perfect. And then we can duplicate this out. What? No, that's not what I meant to do. Undo. This one. Duplicate this one. Perfect. Okay. And then this one's, width will be the actual width of that room in the original. And let's see, change. Where is it? Station. Change pivot point. I want to see if this will. Nope, it does not. It does show me at least the correct location. is kind of vital for, you know, I wish I could scale it out from the new pivot point, change the pivot point. But, meantime, it's not reliably snap. I must be doing something tools wrong. Didn't it? Real quick. This is correct, right? I'm not doing everything wrong here. Yeah, okay, yes. This, zoom in really quick. See, these lines are these lines. See it better. Slope. These lines right here. And they are lining up correctly. The actual original map. Okay, we'll go back to this. Okay. This does feel right, but what I did just realize is we don't need to worry about the width right now. All we need to worry about is the width when the walls. There. We build in the walls, that's whenever we will have, you know, that's whenever we'll exact width of the room, because they will, it's okay if this floor disappears in the walls. And if we want to adjust it so that the grime layer looks right, the dirt layer, you know, then that's what we'll do later on. Okay. Let's go ahead and save what we've done so far. Now we're going to need to do this map. I think, by the way, this is a great indicator of Spartan, this map, because this here is a ladder, and Master Chief is no wider than that ladder. Right up on there. This platform, I believe, is where the rocket launcher is, or maybe it's up here. I think you had to get up there and then jump across to get it. So that's what we're working with as far as scale is concerned. And so if we resume down here, we go in. Nope. I want to go in that way. I just wanted to go in as quick. Just tapped it. I didn't hold it down. Must have held it just too long. So this room is going to want to have the ladder here, and that is, it's obviously not going to have a ladder. I mean, I could script a ladder. I could make it to where if you run into it, go up, and I would love to do that for the, you know, the version for the 1-to-1 version. I actually love that. But I think that whenever I update it to modern standards, I'll probably put some grab lifts in there. Probably make it feel more like a modern Forerunner structure, which they just don't. No one does ladders anymore. Let's see. Or rather, you know, like the Forerunner. I mean, the Forerunner and the Banished and the UNSC and the Covenant. No one does any ladders. So what I'm also looking at, realizing now, is that this trapezoid might just copy across. Like 2 trapezoids back to back might be all I need. Excuse me. And if I don't, then I can. This might just end up being like a strip down the middle. And if that's true, then I might change it. Instead of making the floor be exactly like the original, where it's just this texture all the way across, I might make it a different texture across the middle, and maybe I'll keep the basic one, the main Waterworks variant, um, exactly as it should be from the original. But yeah, we'll have to find out what looks best whenever I get to like this is just make it look like the original game, make it look exactly like the original one. And then after that, it's going to be about, well, that's strange. It teleported. I put it all the way over here. Um, and then after I have, you know, made my one-to-one map where everything is identical, then I'm gonna make it to where it's not identical, where it's, you know, like a whole new map. Just really nice looking, modern. This drastic shift in the streaks is going to look terrible. This is where comes into play what I was saying before, where if you have them this, then it works out. If you don't, it doesn't work out so much. So you want it to be long streaks down the side. Let's turn the mix off for this. Okay. So actually, so the streaks do want to match as best we can. So for the streaks to be continuous down the entire structure, yeah, these are going to be side by side, which means that one needs to be thinner. Because we're looking at this here. So this length and this length are not equal. This one's slightly wider than that one. So this one is not as wide as this. I think if you include that, it might be close to it. But not quite. But anyway, the point is that we need to worry about this outside corner hitting an object that goes straight up. Okay. We need to worry about these two running into each other, but we need to worry about this width. Like, that looks right. Roughly. Yeah. I'd say that looks right. I think the depth isn't right. I think I made this too thick. Oh wait, no, that's right. There's going to be another layer of it back here. And so this might look wrong. I think is actually correct. Because there's an illusion. Because there's another layer there. So then this one needs to actually be wider. Wait, hold on. Change pivot point. That is probably for the best. And the reason being that, yeah, so that's still maybe not wide enough. Substantially wider. That looks more. And then that means this one to come in until it just barely touches there. So that they look like one continuous piece with a bunch of slopes, a bunch of flat areas on it. One continuous sloping piece with a bunch of flat areas on it. And that feels correct. And now that we have that correct, see it's clipping there, we can move aside to make it enter into the cliff at the appropriate location. Should be around stone. Geometry. Oh, look at that. So this I never scaled this. That's why this is Z5. But this is where it's supposed to. Okay, we need to get a front view like this. I'm going to pull up a similar front view in here. We're sort of looking down the ramp. Try to make it even. But also just high enough to see, well, maybe like this. And you can kind of see that slope right there is indicating where it needs to be lined up. Down the ramp. Just like this. The whole thing is way too thick. Oh, you know what? I never adjusted the thickness there. Let's adjust this one's thickness. No, like that first. That needs to be that. Then we select, and this one's correct already. Matches that, which goes off there. This one, though, let's see, is this correct now, or is everything too thick still? Might be that I need to thin that one out instead, like shorten that one. Let's see, because that's, yeah, that's too long. Okay, so this one needs to go like this. And this one needs to go this. And then we can line up there. Points here. We do want to turn magnets on. Yeah. It's on. Okay, so what does this look like? This looks like, let's select everything, strut, and look, the ramp slope, front, sort of center it there. Now we can back up, down. A little bit. A little bit more. Because we should be able to see top of that and the bottom of that. I guess the perspective angle could actually be a little off if in Blender I'm not at 90-degree angle, you know. Or I mean not 90-degree angle, 90-degree field of view. If my field of view isn't 90 degrees in Blender, then it's not going to match the 90 degrees that I have in Infinite. Okay, so unselected. Okay, yeah, I think that this area is still too high. I think that's correct. Oh, maybe just a little bit more to the side. That might be more correct. And then we just gotta do just these. Them lower side. Lower side. Okay. Does that look? No, I made that way too low. Shit. Okay, so there's some bugs in Forge that are very quirky. Let's fix that. I'm not loading a save because I'd done a lot and I didn't update. Rotation reset. Man, looked up its location too. Rotation reset. Rotation reset. Snap. Okay, so that didn't take too long. Something's going wrong here. Scale? How did the scale get changed? Oh, did I accidentally change this earlier whenever I was... Whoops. I assume I changed the scale on this thing. And I had not intended to. And it's probably not related to the undo issue. Okay. Let's save the map. Get a new version. Saved up. Okay, so that actually feels pretty right. I mean, you gotta look at it as if there's railing. So it's still maybe a little too low. No, it's about right. I think you can get a scorpion underneath there pretty easily. That's really good clearance for scorpion. So, or I'm sorry, a wraith. I was using the wrong, talking about the wrong vehicle. Okay, hold on. Save it. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I do like this strut. I like its placement. Now it's to be further away. Which can actually change how it looks perspective-wise. Also, I may have made that bridge. Maybe I shouldn't move because that's all. You know what? No, I don't think I should. Let me see. Based on this, it is blocking the correct area there, which means this is too wide on my map. 7. Is it doing that? Oh, it's interesting. I somehow clicked away from the screen, and it kept manipulating that. But then again, I do have this angled appropriately. That's what I did it off of originally. I'm not going to be able to use the same trapezoid trick up here. Gonna have to use something else. I need to be able to clip this corner. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll be able to use it. I think. Right? So if I duplicate this, then I rotate it, bring it over here, and then I scale it on this axis, be the right width for. Nope. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to use this because I would need to put this in really shallow, and that would be insane. Definitely would delete that. Okay. So I need a. Is it a triangle? Okay, let's go to the Halo design set. I want to see what's in here because I know there's probably something in here. Ramps probably has a good shape. Problem is whether or not it's going to have, like, it's got that orange thing at the bottom all the way in here. Okay, so this will get me what I'm looking for, but I think what we have to do here is, okay, it's now snapping. Get our rough 45 degrees. Okay, you know what? Let's snap it here. Scale on. Oh. Both of these until we get there. Then snap it with this. Okay, so if we bring this as flat as the rest, and we bring it to here, we let it poke out a little bit so we can see it, and we change its textures. Design grid can be changed to C. And region 1 design grid can also be changed to C. And what is happening with the color? This one is just lighter for some reason. Why is that built into the material and not I mean, into the scratch amount will be 0. Okay, so we need this to be the same color, gray, or indistinguishable. And then the pattern breaks as well. What, so then you select this. No. Actually, to select this, go this way. Till it lines up. Oh, right. I suppose. Yeah, no, I want this to be. Turned around. Scaled in. How crazy would it be if you had snapping scale? Like, ability to make it snap. Except, of course, like I said, it's a scaling tool. You could snap it to corner. You could scale it. Ooh, hit my mic. You could scale it until that bottom edge snaps and lines up at the corner of another bottom edge. Okay, that's not too bad. Definitely need to duplicate it. Flip it over. Bring it over here. Line it up there. Turn this around. And then we'll get whatever is this. So, scratch amount 0, ground mount. Metal scratched is what we have it set to. Scratched. I actually want to change that. I think I want to change that. Go. Metal scratch, we're going to turn that back to dirt because grime on the floors makes more sense to me. Let's see. Also, shoot it back around. I really like how that grime lines up. This dirt area over here. Love that. I might find a way to flip this over and use the other side. Grime. I don't hate that one. Actually, that looks great. Okay. So and then, of course, this one. Dirt, flat. to... Where did that... It's just called grime, right? Where did I... Forerunner hexes, grass, green leaves. Okay, hold on. What is this called again? Yeah, just grime. There's some Z fighting there, but what? Oh, okay. Gold light, gold metal. Grime doesn't apply to these? Apparently. Which is strange, because that makes it not collect up in the edges. Certainly helps hide the fact that color is off there by a bit, but... Actually, does it by a lot. I wonder if... Break that go away. Wonder if I... No color, will that look even better? No. That looks good. Nope. Undo that. That looks not too bad. This Z fighting is definitely no good. Whoops, wrong. Actually, what's going on here with this thing's dirt layer? Why is it so bright? That's strange. Interesting. Well, okay, so the point is that something we're hiding here, I think. But I'm sure it'll bake out more. So if we duplicate this, and then we rotate it or move it. No. Snap in there, select this, delete it. That go. This to light up. This to light. Actually, focus on that. on making that a little more perfect. Let's see, scratch amount. Yes and no. Put metal scratch is gonna be 2. What does mud look like? It's not bad. It's definitely streaking down the line, which is pretty good. Let's see. But we're gonna go to grime and see if that continues to look nice. Grime and mud the same. So if I go and select this one, this one, this one, and this one, and I switch them to mud, will that look the same? Mud bumpy. Mud. Oh, wow. Mud A. Mud B. Mud bumpy. Let's see, something is going wrong with this. Okay, can I, is it that I have to do them one at a time? Mud dried. Mud pocket. Mud grass. Okay, I see. Because it's not, I wasn't close enough to really see the difference. Okay. It's not bad. Okay, because it's all mossy. Muddy grass. Mud pocked. Dried. Let's see. So is it a lighting issue here? Like, what's going on here? Forerunner panel, no color. Forerunner metal, simple. Yeah, I have that for the sides. Oh wait, no. Okay, I see what I did. Okay, I'm dumb. Now I understand. Boom, done. I had Forerunner metal for the sides on these, but the railing is going to be determining the sides on these anyway. So really I should be going boom, 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 boom. I can maybe switch this to panel C. That does not appear to have done the right thing. And C here. Let's see what's actually happening. Brushed. Okay. Anything that ended up with the wrong one is now unbrushed, so I can just switch that to Forerunner panel C. And then these two appear to have let's see. 400 panel. Okay, here we go. That should be everything. All right. Set some more correct shape. We've got that going a little bit. I might need, obviously I need to adjust these further out. Get that angle right, I believe. Was not happening right there. Yeah, no, it's way out here. By comparison, which is what I was saying about this thing being so much shorter than this one. This one feels way longer. The gap here is huge compared to the short gap. But yeah. I'm gonna go on a bit of a break, and I will be back. Just a moment. Actually, I didn't. Okay, I'm back. So, let's see. Although I am back pretty much to tell you that I've got to get going because my daughter's awake, and I've got to set her up for schoolwork and get everything ready. So yeah, this is what we've made so far. It's coming along very nicely. We've got some obvious, shortcomings in what we've built that need to be sorted out, but that's stuff that should be sorted out once we can look at what we like. Whenever I know how much I've put into each part of it, I can go back over it and readjust it. Possibly, delete one, shape and because I found a better one, something like that. But yeah, this is it's coming along. Gonna have the central building in no time, and then the outer bases will be next. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in.